good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever it is, you finally might catch this. This is 319, reDigg News, Labseta Media R&D. I'm your host, Steph, and what we do on this is we dig into some articles that are jumped into today off of Digg. It's a site I've been reading for years and find stuff on there and like to keep this even as a journal and as an opportunity to see us think together a bit and see if there's something that can jump you ahead that you might look at that might improve your life or give you something to connect with. So I'm gonna jump in here. We're first gonna start with play to earn. So let's jump on to Digg and get to this. This is Digg. There's some other pretty interesting stuff on here today. I am coming into these. So everyone's mad about ApeCoin. Maybe you've heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's the NFT. There's been different stuff around that. This article here came from Vice, written by Jordan Peterson. If you want to check that out. In it, they are talking about specific idea that came up a couple times in the article about pay to play. So in the article you can find it here where they talk about pay to play. So I kind of found this article here as far as this video kind of explains these NFTs and pay to play a little bit. This just came out from the Washington Street Journal. Let's check this.
Remember Pokemon cards? You could collect them and use them in battles with other players. Now there's this game called Axie Infinity that's built off that same concept. But this time, these game characters are NFTs, and you can make real money from owning them. Axie Infinity is an example of a play-to-earn game, a new model in online video games that allows players to generate an income from earning cryptocurrencies or NFTs.
No more will the game studios be able to capture 100% of the revenue.
So how do play-to-earn games work? And what can this model teach us about the metaverse? Play-to-earn is just 1% of the global video game industry, but it has garnered an enthusiastic community that believes in the future of NFT video games and its potential to shape the metaverse.
Gaming's pushed a lot of industries forward in its time. I think it's going to be the forefront of NFTs. I think it's going to be the forefront of the metaverse.
The concept of buying virtual goods in video games isn't new, but play-to-earn games turn these goods into NFTs, which allows players to sell them for a profit. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are essentially digital deeds that verify that an item is authentic and unique.
Yeah, so on that one, I just thought to bring that up, and there is a YouTube creator named Allison McDowell that gets into this and talks in depth with that community. Kind of rings some bells about it, and it's pretty in depth, the whole thing. As far as how we're all moving along with money, I remember, truthfully being a kid, and my dad taught me how to carry cash and everything, and then it kind of remember we all have cards, and so you see things moving along and how we transfer money, and just kind of remembering the idea that cash and the idea of money is actually a certificate of trust, and in my mind it's supposed to be a certificate of trust between people to allow for the expansion of ideas, thoughts, and the ability to trade goods and services in a fair and equitable way as you would show up within society. So yeah, each step. Part 2, giant wisdom. So there was a interview with the tallest man in the world, and in it he I'm not going to share his part, but you should go watch the video too if you get the time. He talks about why he got taller, and there was tumors or something around his pituitary gland in his brain. And I just thought, wow, that's really interesting how just something shifting within our DNA or with something can make us taller or shorter or change things about us. So it's pretty interesting how organized we are and how designed everything is to be able to set up. But he says something really cool, and I wanted to share it with you, so I'm going to pull it up.
Our audience.
Çocuklarımıza, torunlarımıza temiz bir dünya bırakalım onlara. Çünkü bizden sonra da burada yaşayacak insanlar var. Nasıl bizden öncekiler bize vermişse biz de öyle verelim onlara. Biz kardeşçe, barışça, huzurca hep birlikte yaşayalım. Bir de Türkiye'deki engelli insanlara karşı biraz daha duyarlı olsunlar. Ben yeryüzünü yaşayan en uzun insanı Sultan Kösen hepinizi sevgiyle, saygıyla öpüyorum.
Yeah, I wanted to share that. It just felt really good. And he talked about different stuff he's gone in his life, had a lot of forgiveness in himself and ability to share in that way. So next we have this section, Regulators. This gets back into the tech stuff again. When we're looking into these things, it's honestly pretty complicated. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to start trying to act like we all understand what's going on. There's a lot of features, even just economic principles in general. If you go to start looking it up, there are a lot. They're deep. It's very philosophical, and yeah, you really need to be dedicated if you want to start wading in those waters for sure. But I did want to pull this up because I feel it is interesting. Now, this was on The Verge, and the article, let me jump up here. This was written by Casey Newton, The Vibe Shift in Silicon Valley, and it was, the way it was written is separating these two recent leaders as far as what we're experiencing within the leadership around tech and things like this. I did just want to bring up, I thought this was a really awesome, valid point. The UK's age-appropriate design code change, like where we're headed as far as who's carving out space and leading the way. So please check these out. I'm not going to click on these right now, but the Digital Markets Act and the Digital Service Act, now these are in Europe. But I feel like this journalist makes a great point that would further reshape U.S. tech platforms, and that it's not being covered that much. Also, I thought was interesting and a valid point to go ahead and be a part of it, bringing it up. Meanwhile, Apple's App Store monopoly and insistence, so that there's a lot there to kind of unpack. Definitely something to kind of be aware of, and I did read these. It's just that you would want to kind of check into them yourself. Upon reading them, it does fairly feel like they are doing their best, at least in their lingo, to say, hey, we want these things to be more open, fair, and transparent. So hopefully it's taking place there. More points on that would be awesome to know about. Maybe some of you have heard about this next section with the puppet wranglers. And you know, the truth is, I never knew that someone who made puppets, especially with like the bigger puppets, Muppets, Jim Henson's and all this, that they were called wranglers. So I just thought that was kind of cool. And there's a whole community in that environment, and respect all the wranglers out there, for real. Like, just realizing growing up, being a kid, watching and seeing, thinking, man, wow. all those people they're making those and making them so cool. And then in the article that was on there, they do discuss some of the features of making some of these and some of the materials used too. And some of that sounds like it can really get to people after a while. So there was some stuff. Maybe there's new materials out there that can be Wranglers can start using. I'd be curious to know what the progressive thoughts on that are. So I got into the thing and thought, what's the day in a Wrangler? What's a Wrangler like? And there is a really cool video out. So let me pull a couple of these up real quick. So it's, puppet wrangling is an on-set position unique to Henson and Henson adjacent companies like Sesame Street, Sesame Workshop, and the Muppets. It's a highly specific subspecialty that requires a varied set of skills, not the least of which is knowing how to build and repair puppets. There are only about 25 people in the world who work as full-time wranglers. It's just wild. So we found a video. So what's Wrangler? So, if you want to get into what's going on here, there was a very interesting article here written. This was on the Hollywood Reporter, but Seth Abramovich. And this is, puppet makers rise up against the puppet masters. It's interesting. Maybe it's not as dark as the title infers, but here is what it's like, and we'll play the first minute of this, what it's like to be a Wrangler.
How does Elmo look?
You look okay. Let me see your mouth.
We're gonna move around and we might see that in the next one.
That tickles.
Thank you.
Okay.
When I watched Sesame Street growing up, I wanted to get through that television screen. And I thought, somebody must be helping Big Bird. So this job means a lot to me. It's my dream come true. My name is Laura McLean, and I'm a puppet wrangler on Sesame Street. When you get to set, you go right to the puppet boxes, or the Muppet boxes, whatever you want to call them. And you have all your things there that you need, including some black boxes with all the props and puppets for the day, and you're ready to go. A good puppet wrangler is organized, reads the script, knows what's going on, so making sure the puppets always look the same, aren't always looking good. Sometimes we'll see a fuzz and we'll run in and say, stop, we have to take the fuzz off. Or if a puppet breaks or rips, we have to sew it right away and very fast so we don't take up much time for production. I grew up in Moorestown, New Jersey. When Jim Henson
So yeah. This is really cool too, a puppet wrangler. I love puppets and appreciate life, and hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I hope that in checking this out and whatever you were doing, it provides a little opportunity for us to think together and come up with some responses, good answers in our ways that we think and participate in real life. Love y'all. Have a great day.